Hey, welcome back. We're going to tackle a huge question for any entrepreneur. What actually makes a company valuable? And look, it's not just about profit. There is a kind of hidden architecture that can make a business absolutely irresistible to a buyer. So let's get right into it. I just love this analogy because it perfectly reframes the whole idea of business value. See, an acquirer isn't just buying your company. They're buying a machine that prints money. They put a dollar in, and they expect to get a multiple of that dollar back, predictably. The more predictable it is, and the bigger that multiple, the more they are willing to pay for your magic slot machine.
So that's the real question, isn't it? I mean, it's one thing to build a business that gives you a good living, but it's a completely different ballgame to build an asset that someone else will pay a massive premium to own. And that is exactly what we're going to unpack here, the blueprint for doing just that.
Okay, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll hit the fundamentals, performance and potential. Then we're going to dig into the business's core, its structure and stability. After that, we'll look at the quality of your money, with revenue and control. We'll even cover a simple, super powerful method for boosting profit. And then we'll wrap it all up into your own valuation blueprint. All right, let's kick things off with the first two drivers. Just think of these as the engine and the fuel tank of your business. What it's already accomplished and how much gas it has left to go. First up, financial performance. But here's the twist. You really want to focus on top-line revenue, not just profit. So why is that? Well, because high revenue, it signals a robust turnkey operation that doesn't totally depend on you, the owner. And that is exactly what an acquirer is looking for. And this just illustrates the point perfectly. Take RX Bar, for example. When they were pulling in about $1 million in revenue, their valuation was less than 2 times that. But as they scaled up, they found their niche with that whole no BS thing. Their revenue rocketed to $130 million. And what happened to their multiple? Kellogg swooped in and acquired them for over 4.6 times revenue. That's more than double the multiple they had as a smaller company. Scale signals stability, and buyers will absolutely pay for that. So you've got a great track record. Fantastic. But this second driver, growth potential, is just as critical. A buyer isn't just buying your past success, they're investing in the company's future. They need to see where that next wave of growth is going to come from. Now, this right here, this is a huge mental shift you need to make. As an owner, you've poured your life into this thing. Selling it can feel like you're at mile 26 of a marathon. You're at the finish line. But for the acquirer, it's the total opposite. For them, the purchase is mile 0. They're at the starting line of their race, and they need to see a long, clear runway of growth potential ahead of them. Okay, so we've got performance and potential down. Now let's talk about building a resilient core with structure and stability. These drivers are all about cutting down your risk, making sure your business can take a punch, and isn't dangerously reliant on any one thing. Driver number 3 has such a great name, the Switzerland structure. And yeah, just like the country, the whole goal here is a kind of strategic neutrality. So the key point here is to avoid being over-reliant on, well, anything. Think about it. If one single customer makes up half of your revenue, you're walking a tightrope. What happens if they leave? It's the same thing if you rely on one critical supplier or that one superstar employee who knows where all the bodies are buried. Building a Switzerland structure means you're spreading out those dependencies, which makes your business way more resilient and a much safer bet for a buyer. Our fourth driver is another one of these wonderfully simple ideas, the valuation teeter-totter. It's all about how much cash your business actually needs just to run day-to-day. I mean, picture a playground teeter-totter, right? On one end, you've got your company's need for working capital, and on the other, you've got its valuation. Now, as your need for cash goes down, maybe you get customers to pay you up front, or you get smarter about managing inventory, your valuation shoots way up. A business that generates cash instead of just eating it is always going to be worth more. All right, let's get to our final pair of value drivers. These are all about the quality of your revenue and your power in the market. Driver number 5 is what a lot of people consider the holy grail for businesses today, recurring revenue. And trust me, it's not just a buzzword. It is a serious valuation multiplier. So what makes recurring revenue so powerful? It's the predictability. Instead of starting from 0 every single month, you start with a baseline of income that's already guaranteed. This smooths out the bumps, it makes managing cash flow a dream, and it gives a buyer confidence that the revenue won't just vanish the day after they take over. It's the ultimate risk reducer. And our final driver is a concept inspired by the one and only Warren Buffett, monopoly control. Now, this doesn't mean you have to be a literal monopoly like in the board game. This quote really gets to the heart of it. Monopoly control is all about how much power you have to set your own prices, instead of just having the market tell you what they are. Do you have a unique product, a protected process, a brand that people will happily pay a premium for? The wider your competitive moat is, the more pricing power you have, and the more valuable your business becomes.
So we've got these 6 powerful drivers, but how can you directly juice your bottom line to pump up that valuation? Well, let's look at a brilliantly simple method for squeezing every last bit of profit out of your business.
This is the Pure Method from founder Derek Morin. What's so amazing about it is the mindset it forces you into. It turns your P&L statement from this boring old document into a strategic tool for hunting down gains. So here's how it works. You go line by line. P is for plus, what's already working that you can double down on. U is for unnecessary. You know that software subscription you haven't used in 6 months? Gone. Cut it. R is for replaceable. Can you find a shipping provider that's 5% cheaper? Do it. And finally, E is for equal, the core costs that are working just fine. This kind of disciplined review is a powerful way to find hidden profit.
And did it work? You bet it did. In 2020, his company was valued at around $400,000. Just 2 years later, after obsessively applying this Pure Method every single month, he sold it in a deal that valued the business at roughly 10 times that amount, a 10-fold increase. That just shows you the direct power of compounding small, smart profit gains on your overall valuation.
Whew, okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's pull all of this together into a final blueprint that you can use to start thinking about your own business. And here it is, your 6-part blueprint for building a much more valuable company. Think of financial performance and growth potential as your offense. The Switzerland structure and the valuation teeter-totter, that's your defense against risk. And recurring revenue and monopoly control, those are your strategic power plays. Each one of these is a lever that you can pull to build a stronger, more desirable asset. And that brings us to the final and most crucial question, the one you should be asking yourself right now. Looking at this blueprint, which one of these drivers is the biggest opportunity for you? Where can you make the most impact starting today? Just thinking about that, that's the first step toward building a truly valuable business.